Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. Now, the content for this morning is the breakdown of the State of the Union address in regards to the Second Amendment, how Biden is infringing, and the things that he said in this entire address. I watched an hour and 30 minutes of Biden rambling for this, so I hope you guys enjoy. Everything's linked in the description box below per usual, and if you are a new or returning viewer, please consider giving this video a like, making sure you subscribe to the channel, and turning that notification bell on. We need as many of you as possible to get into the fold with us so we can pass the blessing of the Second Amendment along to the next generation. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration, but my brothers and sisters, again, this was a horrible State of the Union address. I've seen a lot of them. This was not a good one, but we're going to focus on a few things and a few takeaways around the Second Amendment because Biden left the door open for a lot of criticism and a lot of detail that we're going to fill in to really add some flesh on the bones of this because this was manipulation hardcore. Now, the first things I want to bring to your attention, again, this is an entire State of the Union address of which I watched and recorded and got these clips. Biden spoke for 1 hour and 13 minutes. So for 1 hour and 13 minutes, he talked about a lot of things, a lot of stuff that was really kind of boring and didn't connect with really anybody, except for 2 minutes and 13 seconds was focused on gun control. So 2 minutes out of an hour and 13 minutes. This is almost like a toss-in mention just to say he did it, check, let's move on. It was very abrupt, but the things that he said are easily refutable. Let's get into the first clip, and I'm going to show you some of the quiet parts that are kind of obvious that we're going to say out loud. Check this out.
Do something. Do something. That was the plea of parents who lost their children in Uvalde. I met with every one of them. Do something about gun violence. Thank God. Thank God we did. Passing the most sweeping gun safety law in 3 decades. That includes things like that the majority of responsible gun owners already support. Enhanced background checks for 18 to 21 years old. Red flag laws, keeping guns out of the hands of people who are a danger to themselves and others.
Red flag laws coming soon to a Supreme Court near you. Here's the thing. He goes into 2 different pieces there, and he's trying to tout his accomplishments. In this entire State of the Union, he was trying to beg and plead for the approval of the population of the United States because his approval numbers are underwater. That's why he went down this entire litany of lists of the things he's done for the American people. That was the whole point of the speech. However, what he just mentioned with the most comprehensive background check law, the most comprehensive red flag law that's been passed in 30 years, none of it's been implemented. They passed a significant amount of funding, but the big irony is they require due process in the funding for that red flag law legislation in the Senate bipartisan background checks, safer communities thing. The whole point here is the states who utilize red flag laws can't even qualify for that money because they provide no due process. It's a big shell game. Now, the one thing that they did here with the 18 to 21-year-olds with the enhanced background checks, this is something that, again, the ATF is utilizing, and there's basically a mandatory waiting period on 18-year-olds for purchasing anything Second Amendment because you just got to do the entire swath of the population. That's also going to end up in the Supreme Court eventually. I don't know when, but eventually, because you're honing out individuals and you're saying they can't have their rights while others can. There's a lot of reasons this is going to fall flat on its face, but that's just 2 of the things that I mentioned in that clip. Now, this next clip, we're going to go into what he's talking about the tragedies in California. Again, keep in mind, California is the ultimate gun control state, ranked number 1 for every town for gun safety. They ban assault weapons. In fact, the person of which he's about to reference was using a banned weapon that shouldn't have existed in California, and yet he completely negates that fact. Completely negates the idea that everything in California of what he's pushing for on a national level did nothing. But I digress. Let's get into the second clip, and then we're going to break this one down.
2 weeks ago, during the Lunar New Year celebrations, you heard the studio door close. And you saw a man standing there pointing a semi-automatic pistol at him. He thought he was going to die, but he thought about the people inside. And in that instant, he found the courage to act and wrestled a semi-automatic pistol away from the gunman who had already killed 11 people in another dance studio. 11. He saved lives. It's time we do the same. Ban assault weapons now. Ban them now.
You can't make this up. Okay. Let's break this part down. So notice that he said the words are incredibly important to what they choose. Notice how he said he saw a man there standing with a semi-automatic pistol. Semi-automatic pistol? Are those the same semi-automatic pistols that you said are sick and should be banned as well, Joe? Because they have to make it scary, so they can't just call it a pistol, even though it was a MAC-10 and it would be on the assault weapons list from California. Not to mention it also had a homemade device on the end of that bad boy, which also was illegal in California. So ban assault weapons now! The abrupt switch to just get the tagline for the applause was abusively bad on delivery. Anyway, that's the whole point. What he just did was, it's a semi-automatic pistol. No, it's something that would have been banned in California under the assault weapons ban. Still didn't work. Suppressors that were attached also would have been banned underneath California law. Didn't work. So we got to do it nationally. It makes no sense. It's very rushed and very uncomfortable. He's trying to get a tagline in. Not to mention the fact that if this individual had the ability to carry a gun, had the ability to defend himself and others, it wouldn't have been a hand-to-hand. It would have been taken care of much more easily. But that's the entire point. California gun control fails, obfuscate all the details, and then talk about a national assault weapons ban, which would have failed the exact same way. This was not a good look for Biden. I'm curious how upset the gun controllers are that only 2 minutes of an hour and 13-minute speech were devoted to their gun control cause, say big tagline for applause, and then bounce out. And that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.